What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again. We got ourselves another Brawl Stars update video. It feels like it was just yesterday, right? 2 weeks ago, Supercell recently did the big overhaul on the game. And now, after getting a little bit of feedback from the Brawl Stars community, it's now time to see what kind of changes they have implemented in the game here. They have some quality of life improvements as far as, and of course, balance changes. We're going to focus on the balance changes right now. We'll put a little bit of gameplay in the background. And we'll take a look at what we got going on here. So, first one up, El Primo, a little bit of a health increase by 200, and his star power that provides this damage over time originally was 4 seconds, or correction, 5 seconds, 400 damage over 5 seconds, now is 600 damage over 4 seconds. A little bit of extra damage, a little bit of less time for it to come into play. I like that. The good thing about it is it's not an overwhelming amount of damage. Sure, it shouldn't have too much of an impact, but I do feel like that amount of damage added is obviously going to be beneficial here. Bull, which I'm pretty excited about. Again, a little bit of a health increase similar to Primo. The main attack damage is going up a little bit. And then the star power, which everyone was commenting on, not a really big fan of it. The Berserker star power being able to do the reduction of the reload time on a skill by half when he was at 30% health, now is at 50% health. So I'm pretty hyped up about this simply for the fact that I feel like 50% health with a unit like this or a brawler like this that has such a good amount of health here, he can still do some work here in that range. And then of course you get to control how his health comes into play. If he gets super low, you can kind of take a step back and let your health just kind of clamp up a little bit. Take a couple shots here and there so that you can keep his health at the 50%. And then of course, being at 50% health, if you're on the offensive side, you're just going to be able to contribute so much more damage over time because of how this mechanic now works here. Bows change, star vision increase from 5 to 6. I ain't gonna lie. I actually do not have the star power, so I haven't been doing a lot of testing on bow since the recent update, but I feel like any improvement with regards to his tiles and the ability to see more opponents in some of those big, like bushy maps here, like the Snake Parry and Bounty game mode, obviously is going to be beneficial here. Brock, a lot of people were commenting that the damage that was provided from the star power was not too much of an improvement, simply for the fact that the radius of that damage was so small, so if people were to land on it, they weren't going to be on there for all too long and not going to be able to take, all too much damage. So the improvement from 160 to 240 obviously is going to be a nice change for Brock. Let's see if it makes an impact, though, in the game here. The one that we were all scared about here, Mr. Crow, the supercharges slightly more slowly. It looks now it's hitting with 6 daggers versus 5. And the poison. And then, of course, the poison duration from the main attack has been reduced from 5 to 4 seconds. And the super, excuse me. So the total damage remains the same. Overall, with this Crow nerf, the nerf was warranted, but I don't feel like it's going to make a huge improvement for the mid to late game Crow users. Why is that? Because I feel like in this particular situation, even though a lot of people use them for that, mid to long range aspect, being able to poke your opponents, do a little bit of damage, with his unique mechanic of that, special ability here, the ability to jump in the mix really, really quickly and just kind of surprise your opponent is definitely going to make for some aggressive play when it comes to Crow. So you're going to get in situations, more situations than not, where I feel like you're going to be able to hit with 2 to 3 daggers at a time. I generally am always trying to aim for at least 2 daggers if at all possible, unless, again, I'm just sitting back trying to poke at the opponents here. So I feel like it's still, even though that the supercharging it's obviously a good thing to have there, good change to have here. I don't think it's going to impact the later players because I still think they're going to still incorporate a little bit more aggressive play considering how their super works and still be able to generate that super pretty quickly. Here's another one that I was kind of scared about considering how they talked about Crow. And with this one here, this has been widely known as the top dog when it comes to the brawlers out there currently, with regards to his unique star power, being able to have the improvement of speed, and then his reload time was super low here. He was really, really one of the best brawlers out there in the game today. Now his reload time is improved from 125 seconds to 1.5 seconds. And the reload time starts after all bullets are fired, so the increase in total time is much less impactful than these numbers would suggest. Now, you're going to see some gameplay in the background here. Obviously, you're not going to be able to tell right away, just come from how I'm playing. You have to get a feel for it yourself here if you're a Colt user. But honestly, they're saying that it wasn't as impactful. I felt like I noticed a different, a little bit amount of change. I felt like maybe if it was increased from like a 1.25 to like a 1.35 or 1.4, that would have been a little bit better. It's saying that it doesn't impact it, but I do notice it a little bit. And of course, because of that, that's going to force us to be, take a little bit more time and try to be a little bit, accurate. Whereas me with Colt, I ain't going to lie. Once I had that shot lineup, I was pretty much spamming all day because the reload time was so low. I felt like I would get it back, so quickly here. Mortis, next one up here, star power healing reduced from 1200 to 1000 per soul collected. I don't think that should make that much of an improvement here, but I can see how this can come into play. If you got a good Mortis player, really killing a lot of people here, and then of course with his super being able to get his health right back up, he's going to have these different skeletons, right, that are going to be sitting around for a very long time here. And so having that excess health there all the time can easily keep Mortis at bay here. So I like the improvement on that. I don't think it's going to impact it greatly, but I think they made a good choice in the improvement. Nita, a little bit more base health, and then we have the star power healing increase by 180 to 200. I personally didn't think that it was needed. I felt like it was pretty decent, but again, that's just from my perspective, considering where I'm at in the trophy ranks. I'm sitting, for most of my brawlers, I'm sitting anywhere in the 200 to 300 range. I was using Nita, but obviously not as much to really give a lot of feedback on that. But again, any improvement in this aspect is obviously going to be good. I feel like there's some other brawlers that really shine and that kind of push Nita out of the meta, so any improvement for her is obviously really good. The next one up here needs no introduction when it comes to the nerfing bat, right? We already know that she was going to get wrecked to no end. Her kit overall, which is super OP, and then of course with the star power recently being improved in the last update 2 weeks ago here, we just knew it was coming into play. Like, they honestly should have said Crow and Pam nerf when they talked about the hype, about 2 to 3 days ago here. Daryl, he had more quality of life improvements versus the actual mechanical improvements here, but on the mechanical side, the health increase, the main attack shots are fired a little bit closer, which is great. The star power damage reduction is increased from 7 to 80%. A lot of people thought that this was not really good to take advantage of, because again, he just rolls super quickly, and the shots going around here, it's so hard to control here for the opponent being able to land that shot here, because he just was moving so fast. As you guys can see on the next update here, the roll speed has decreased slightly from 2800 to 2400 here, so we're going to have to see how much of an impact that has. As of right now, I see the change, but I don't think it's going to make a huge impact. Honestly, the damage reduction from 70 to 80%, I honestly feel like they should figure out something to do outside of that. Now that it's a little bit slower, people are going to have a little bit easier of time to hit him, but I'm not too really excited about it. This is something I said, even 2 weeks ago. The damage reduction thing, I think it's there's something else that they could do with that, but that's just me. Again, the last ones here are just quality of life improvements here, getting stuck on walls and whatnot. Moving on, though, we have Poco, the new star power. His main attack also heals allies for 200 health. It used to give 1000 health when he died. A lot of people commented on this one because they were like, hey, well, yes, the 1000 health AoE is nice, but it only is triggered when he dies. If you have a well-skilled Poco here, he's going to be in more situations than not where he's trying to stay alive, trying to support his opponents, and he's not going to sacrifice himself just to give people 1000 health here. So they try to revert that back to a 200 health per hit, which, sure, it is a nice improvement from the original one, but I think it's a little bit too in line with regards to Pam. So I'm hoping that they try to figure out something they can do. I like to see some kind of an aura improved, some kind of aura that provides a defense mitigation, or maybe a 15% improvement on reload time or something like that. If you're in the area, something crazy, like the reload time might be a little too OP, but you know what I'm talking about, like some kind of support kind of aura that if they're in range, they can get that benefit of it and take advantage of it. And so I'm pretty excited to see what they're gonna do, what other kind of feedback that the other content creators have or people in the Brawl Stars community have, because honestly, yes, it's an improvement, but I'm not really happy about it overall. Spike. Star power healing reduced from 600 health to 500 health per second. Considering how much HP Spike had, this was pretty strong, so I see why they decided to go ahead and reduce this particular health here. The fact that it does damage and heals over time is is pretty darn strong. So I feel like that was just something that we were expected as well, but not as crazy as like the nerf on Crow and Pam. Tara, though, star power companion health gets improved from 1600 to 2000. Honestly, I felt like she was fine. The annoyance of her after the skill was done, I felt like it had enough HP to get the job done, but there are a couple of close range brawlers that can do a good amount of damage, and so if they did get the chance to, you know, get that first shot in right when she's then and there, they could take her out, you know, in a quick shot here. And so I'm guessing that's the reason why they want to bring up her. But honestly, I didn't think it was needed. I think Tara's in a good place right now here. The change when it comes to the power-ups, that's definitely something that had to be done. The boss fight, though, I didn't notice too much of an impact when I saw gameplay, but I never got an opportunity to test her out in the boss fight, so I wasn't able to show any gameplay on that here. Last but not least, we got Ricochet, the new star power effects. It's going to look a little bit different here. I like the change on that. When it hit off the walls, it used to be like this white ball that had no kind of glowing effect or anything unique. It looked pretty plain considering how their, you know, UI and the look of the game is overall. So now it got a little bit of a glowing effect, which is nice. The star power damage, though, has been reduced from 100 to 800 or 100 to 80. I feel like this was needed for the people that are extremely skilled in the game. The additional damage that this brawler was hitting, I think if it's max, I think it was hitting upwards of 532 damage per bullet. So if you had some pretty good aim, or if you were in some kind of a corridor that you could take advantage of the walls, you could do an absurd amount of damage with this particular star power ability engage here. So overall, I like the change on that. Not too bad of an update in general, but you know, I am pretty curious to see what people's thoughts are on Crow, on Colt, on Pam, and on Bull. I ain't gonna lie, I already went ahead and put the update when it comes to Bull. Bull wasn't one that I had already, like, you know, maxed out, but I did went ahead and maxed out because I'm excited to try out the star power here. Colt, obviously, I'm really excited about him, or correction, Crow, I'm really excited about the fact that they did not change anything when it comes to the speed at which Crow jumps. I felt like that mechanic was really nice. It allowed me to get a little bit more aggressive with him and not just sit back and try to take a couple of poke shots or whatnot. Colt, obviously, I've been spending like a week and a half straight of playing Colt, going back and forth in trophies because I'm doing a lot of matches with randos just to practice my shot. So now I'm gonna have to adjust my gameplay a bit because of the reload time here, but at least it shouldn't make too much of an advantage, too much of a bad situation for me, because ultimately that's gonna force me to be not too much like on the spammy side and force me to practice my shots and be a little bit more precise here. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Quick update here on these balance changes. Of course, again, if you want to go ahead and check out all the quality of life changes, you can click the game updates window to go ahead and check it out. A lot of improvements have been made for the better. So I'm really excited Supercell took the time to listen to everything that we said, and so that we can you know, make this this game a reality when it comes to the global launch here this upcoming year. All right, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish for ChildishPlays checking out. Take care. We will see you all in the next Brawl Stars video.
Check this out.